Hello my little fuzzy bat buds, and welcome to the long-awaited Q&A video. I'm very excited to do this because it has indeed been a very long time since I have tackled one of these videos. I asked you in my video that I uploaded last week to ask me whatever questions you have, and I will do my very best to answer as many as possible on this video today. So, hopping onto my YouTube channel right now, I haven't looked at these questions beforehand at all. I actually haven't had a chance to look at the comment section really at all on this video, unfortunately, but oh, it's doing very nicely. Thank you everyone for all the thumbs up on this video. I have 239 thumbs up on this video. That's amazing. So thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch my videos and to give me a thumbs up, because that does indeed help my channel very much. I feel like I've said indeed several times now. By the way, I've been working very hard to try to do as little cropping on my videos as possible, so they're very free form and what you see is what you're getting with how I am speaking. So I'm now on the comments of the video and we'll start answering them after I do a couple quick updates. I have some exciting things I wanted to share with you. I got a brand new tattoo by my friend Ostentatious. He did this one while I was on tour. It's a protection tattoo that he specially crafted for me, and I also just got this one very recently, like a couple, maybe 2 weeks ago or 1 week ago. My days are blurring together as I get older, but it is the fawn from Pan's Labyrinth. He is an insanely talented tattoo artist. He is based out of Portland, so if you guys want a tattoo from him, I'm going to have his Instagram linked down below, and I believe it has his email information for you to book with him if that's something you're interested in. But that's very exciting because I've wanted this tattoo for a good, like, solid 7 years or 6 years. 6 years. So I'm happy to finally have it a part of me. I've had requests too for a video specifically talking about my tattoos. However, to me, a video talking about my tattoos personally kind of feels kind of cringy because I don't know, I don't think that my tattoos are like, I don't know, I just don't think tattoos are that like taboo anymore or that interesting. I feel like there's tons of videos out there on tattoos. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll look into making that happen. The next thing I wanted to show you guys is something very cool that I purchased not too long ago. Whew, if I don't break it. It's this new Ouija board with a glass covering on it, and there's a little black cat in the center. I love it so much. The planchette for it is really pretty as well. It's got like a tree on it. I love this so much. I've made a Ouija video before in the past, and once again, I'll just reiterate that to me, a Ouija board is no different than a ghost box or any ghost investigation tool or any divination tool at all. It's just knowing how to properly use it and not spend too much time on the other side. But I'm quite thrilled with this Ouija board, and I'm excited to get to play with it more in the future. I've played with it a little bit, but every time I play with it, I get like maybe a couple letters and then it says bye. So we'll see what happens, and if anything entertaining comes through, I'll be sure to let you know. All right, so that's enough of the updates for now. Let's go ahead and hop into these questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and start going down the questions. I'm just going to descend down the comments, so they're in no particular order. I guess they're just in the order of who commented first. So this first question is from Ace, and the question is, what are your pagan favorites, i.e. favorite rune, crystals, element, and general energies that you work with? Whew, my pagan favorites. My favorite rune right now is Manaz, and it's spelled M-A-N-N-A-Z, I believe. And it's basically what it means is having faith in humanity and having faith in humans as a collective to rise above and become better versions of themselves. It also has several other meanings, but I like the idea of having faith in people to rise above and having faith that people can find a better route to handle things and a better way to treat our environment around us. Having faith that humans will, in the end, see light or see the light and go towards a better outcome than what we're at right now. My favorite element is earth. I am an earth sign. I'm a Virgo and I'm an earth sign. I spend a lot of time out in the forest. I love to draw out in the forest, and I meditate a lot outside. I like to sit on the ground and have my feet in the dirt, and if I have bad anxiety attacks, sitting outside helps me tremendously. And it's just, I've always had this strong connection with the earth, and if I could, I would get a cabin out in the middle of the woods and I would live in the middle of the woods. But I would need to be somewhat close to the city because I do thoroughly enjoy my goth club experiences. General energies that I work with Nordic deities. Right now I have been working very closely with the Nordic goddess Skadi, and I also work very closely with Odin, and Odin is believed also to be a gift giver to the poets, to give them creative inspiration. And I've always felt very close to Odin, but now Odin in the wandering type form, Odin where he randomly shows up in all the stories and kind of like is the devil's advocate in the stories. But also Skadi, I really like Skadi a lot, and I've been working more closely with her, and I've also been interested with her ex-husband Njord. I've been working with him a little bit as well, and I think that, well, my friend Christian works with Njord, and I think that that might just be a correlation of the fact that we both cast together, so it might just kind of be that crossover in the fact that we cast together. But my favorite pagan holiday, oh man, my favorite pagan holiday, I really like Ostara. I like Ostara, but I also like Samhain a lot, because Samhain is a time whenever I can really connect with a lot of things, and I already see spirits. I'm clairvoyant, but I feel like Samhain's a time whenever everything becomes clearer, I can communicate better. I like Samhain. I think the ceremonies and the rituals with Samhain are quite entertaining. I like Ostara because I like the ceremonies with that as well. I think those are my two favorite as of right now. I enjoy the maypole as well, but I just don't really enjoy it as much as Samhain, I think. So let's see, what else? It would also be awesome if you did some tutorials on how you braid your hair. You come up with some beautiful styles. Well, thank you so very much. I will try my very best to do some braiding tutorials. I honestly, in the morning, I just wake up and I'm trying to make my hair where it's not in my face and it's not bothering me too much. I usually always braid these two front ones because my hair gets staticky really easily. So I'll braid these so I don't have to deal with the static in my face. And I do this braid up top because I used to have bangs and they're growing out very, very slowly. And so they like hit my eyes and it's uncomfortable. And so I usually do this braid as well. But I will do my best to make a tutorial in the future. I have another question from Sage of Winds. How long did it take you to get decorations, furniture, in order to achieve the look you have in your house? I've been slowly accumulating things since 2011 for my house. It's been a very slow progression, and I just kind of purchase things as I see them. And everything I have kind of comes from a purpose. Like, some things are decorations that Brady and I bought for our hand fasting. Other things I buy just periodically whenever we go on tour. I'll buy things from different states. Even like when we go to Germany, I buy things from Germany to bring back to the house. Antique stores. I kind of just have my eye open at all times, and I slowly have been buying things. Now, my furniture, like my couch, this was a gift from my mother that used to be in my childhood home, and then the hutch back there and the dining room table were both from my childhood. So some of the furniture in the house we've purchased, and then some of the other bits and pieces around the house are from my mother or my grandmother. And I really enjoy hand-me-downs, because hand-me-downs, especially when they're from family, because I have like these childhood memories attached to them. Did I even answer the question just now, or am I just rambling? Oh, how long did it take you to get decorations and furniture? So it took about, like, I'd say since 2011. I really love your interior and would love to do that myself, but living in an apartment and moving every few years makes it difficult. Any tips? Whenever you are purchasing things, just keep in mind that you may be moving in the future, and maybe just keep that in consideration on how heavy the objects are and how easily they'll be to pack in the future. I really love tapestries, and if I could decorate my whole house in tapestries, I would, and I think that that's probably one of the easiest decorating tips on how to make a house look really cool really fast, is getting some really awesome tapestries and some awesome curtains. Make a house look really cozy. I also think that candelabras, like little ones that go on the wall and stuff, that's another way to make your house look cozy. Even lanterns. And mirrors make your house look bigger, so I like mirrors as well. The next question I have is from Tiny and Dangerous. Rewatched because I have a question now. I hope it's not too late. I started reading tarot and I love it. Do you have any advice on how to use tools like tarot or runes in the creative process? I'm very much a beginner, and honestly, any advice is welcome. I actually, whenever I'm writing lyrics, I use my tarot and my runes pretty often to kind of kickstart the process, or to get some advice from the sources around us, all around us. I'm grabbing out my tarot and my oracle right now, if you're wondering what that noise is. If I can get to it. So my tarot deck that I am using right now is the Tarot of Draconis, and I also have this oracle deck that is the Power of the Runes, which I spoke briefly about in my previous video. With my tarot deck, before I start working with my music, I'll usually draw a card, or I'll draw however many cards I feel inclined to draw at that time and in that moment. And whenever I do a reading on it, I will from then apply that to the lyrics that I'm writing or the art piece I'm working on. So I'm just going to grab a card randomly, and I don't know why, but I feel inclined to give some quick information, because I think that a lot of people who read tarot, or people who are just getting into tarot, they feel like they have to stick to the little booklet that comes with the tarot deck, which normally in your box with your tarot cards, you have a little booklet with the meanings of the cards. And I always throw away that booklet, and the reason being is because I actually read the photos on the card, or I read the images on the card. So I'm just going to take one of these real quick, and I'm going to show you guys how you can read it by just looking at the image. So on this image of this tarot card, we have a volcano that's erupting, and a lot of dragons are around it, kind of scurrying about. So this one is the 8 of arrows, which could probably translate to 8 of swords in a traditional deck. But there are some people, whenever they read, they need to know that information. Personally, I just look at the imagery, and here I see a volcano erupting. So something is coming to a head, or something is finally, the shit has hit the fan, basically. And we have a lot of dragons swarming around it, and dragons, of course, they are fire creatures, or salamanders, if you want to get elemental here, but they enjoy fire. So these dragons around this fire are more like moths to a flame. So this is coming to an eruption, something's coming to a head, the shit has hit the fan, and you have lots of little minions circling it and feeding off of it, is what I see. And I also see that the lava coming down the mountain says that it's going to kind of trickle off into your life path, and it's going to be something that may be a reoccurring theme, or something that gets brought up a lot in the future. So that would be how I would read that card, is just by looking at the picture. I also have this one here, and the image we have are 2 dragons, and they're sitting on coins, and then we have an infinity symbol up here that is glowing, And to me, what I see are these two dragons look like they're in solace, or they're peaceful almost. They're like in a sleeping mode, and they're on top of these coins. So they're either being passive, or they're waiting on their fortune or their wealth. To me, this is what I see. And it's something that they've been working on their entire life, and it's almost like a heartbeat to them. It's their source and their fuel. So this passion that they have has been their source and their fuel, but they're kind of sleeping on it. And it's lighting up, and it's something they want to take action on because it has been a part of their life forever, but they're just basically sitting on gold. So that would be how I would read that card as well. And of course, whenever you're actually doing a reading, things make more sense, and it's easier to read the imagery on the card. I just picked random cards on the deck. I wasn't actually doing a reading. I was just doing that, for example, on how you would read the photo. So you just look at colors, you look at body posture, and you just look at the symbols, and you kind of figure out what that card means. And I recommend to anybody to just throw out the little booklet with the card meanings and do it that route, because it's more organic and it's more natural to what you need to hear and what you need to see. And yes, so that was, I felt like I needed to share that with you guys, and that was a very long tangent, and I apologize because I just ate up a bunch of precious question answering time. We're almost at the 20-minute mark, and I think I've only answered like 4 questions. So let's go ahead and continue onwards to see what other questions I can fit into this video before we make it too far in. And if I don't answer all the questions, I will save questions, and we can return to this Q&A in the near future. Let's see, scrolling down just a little bit more. I have a question from Becky N. She says, I could not agree more with the video's message. This was the video I uploaded prior to this video. As a quick question, were you both still considering moving in the future? So we're talking, I'm assuming we're talking about Brady and I, and if we're considering moving in the future. We are still wanting to move. Where we're going to move is kind of a toss-up in the air still. We preferably would like to live in Europe, or somewhere in Europe is where we would preferably like to live. Simply because we enjoy the culture, and we enjoy a lot of the standpoints from Europe. So that is why we have made that decision, and we would love to immerse ourselves in the culture of these places we've been looking at. Personally, of course, we would love to live in Germany, but we're also okay and more than happy to, well, you know, it's not even just Europe, but we would like to we'd even like to live in like Sweden or Norway, or a Scandinavian place. Even we've been talking about Iceland too, but it's kind of, right now we've been very focused with our band, and we've been putting a lot of our money and time into our band Esoteric. So as of right now, we do still want to move in the future, but we're also taking our time because we want to make sure that we don't put all of our funds into moving and then not have any funds to tour or travel with Esoteric. So it's like a delicate balance that we're figuring out. But we do plan on moving in the future. Where we're going to move, we aren't quite sure on just yet. I will say that we were planning on moving to Worms, Germany this year, and that was what I had informed you guys about, was because we were planning on moving to Worms, which is like a small town, a small college town, and Brady and I were gonna go back to college in this town and study different things on top of becoming, well, we wanted to become citizens. So on top of learning the language and everything, we were gonna go back to college and get degrees in different fields. But we'll see what happens in the future. I don't write anything out because you don't know what's gonna happen, and magical things happen often when you live that way. So we'll see what happens. We may get to move sooner than we intend. So moving on, down, Melissa asked the same question on if Brady and I are still moving. Yes, we still want to move, as I said before. Also, side note, we've been throwing around the idea that we want to live out in the woods in like a cottage or like in a weird wilderness type setting. So that's also something we've been thinking about. Scrolling down a little bit more from Tia Lee. Tia Lee, for the Q&A, I wanted to learn more about the runes, more and certain pagan related stuff. Where can I start? I think the best thing to do is to go on Google and type in keywords of what you're curious about, and then pick and choose information that comes up from the Google search. I think that the pagan path is best learned, or it comes to you best whenever you explore it yourself. And whenever you do this Google search and you search in these keywords that you're intrigued about, also be on the lookout for books. And you might even go on Amazon and put in keywords of what you're interested in and see what books pop up, and purchase books and pick and choose what you see and what information stands out to you. Keep a little notebook and write down information that resonates with you, or write down things that stand out to you, and just kind of continue on with your path by learning that way. Just kind of pick and choose things that stand out to you and resonate with you. And I think that that's going to be your truest form of finding your information. As I scroll down some more, Kim Sinister, which I love you, Kim. Thank you for always commenting on my videos and being such a sweet and awesome person. Kim Sinister's question is, if you had to go back in time, who would you like to have drinks and a good conversation with, and why? If I could go back in time, who would I have drinks and a conversation with? Oh, this is hard. I've never actually thought about this or in this sort of way. Who would I have drinks and a conversation with? If I could go back in time, I think that I would like to go back in time and talk to my grandpa before he served in the war. And I would like to pick his brain and kind of see what kind of person he was, and what his thoughts were, and where his standpoint on life was. Because my grandpa, he achieved all of the things that he wanted to achieve in his lifetime, and he also, in all of his photos, he looks like a very happy person, and I would just like to pick his brain a little bit. And I've also heard that he's a very fun person whenever he's drinking, so I would have liked to have had some witty banter with my papa when he was younger. I also would have liked to have met my grandma, because my grandma was very much a feminist, and she was a tomboy for her timeline, because whenever she was a teenager, she played on the basketball team, and like a lot of the things she did, she was pushing limits for her time and in her era, because she was a little girl during the Dust Bowl here in Oklahoma, which basically was a giant famine. It was around the Great Depression, and it was just as it sounds. It was just dust that was blown everywhere, and crops were desolate, and it was a sad time. And she told me about how when she was little she had feed sack dresses, but what I found that stood out the most was she always was pushing limits, and she was really hard-headed, and she always has been a really strong woman. And I would have liked to have spent one evening drinking and hanging out with her and hearing who she was and what kind of person she was. She was also a head nurse in a hospital, and she spent the rest of her years until she was retired, she was a head nurse in a hospital. But she's a really cool woman, and I would have liked, and she's very educated. I would have really liked to have gotten to drink with her as well. So I guess my grandpa and grandma are some people that I would like to get to drink and hang out with. Who else? I don't really think there's anybody else that I would like to go back in time and hang out with. Maybe if I went back really far in time, it'd be cool to experience a mead hall a Viking mead hall and see what that's like. It might be too savage for me though. I might not be quite hardcore enough to experience a Viking mead hall. I like to think that perhaps I would be able to. On Q&A questioning from Morgonis13Death. Q&A questioning, do you plan on doing any more top faves or interesting people from Instagram? I thought it was very inspiring. Also, never stop rabbit trailing. Some of the best things come from that. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy my rabbit trails. I'm very notorious for going on them. I would like to do those Instagram videos where I talk about things that inspire me for the month, like at the end of the month doing a video talking and celebrating Instagram users that are very artistically talented and just talking about different people that inspire me. I would like to do that again, and perhaps I will, but as of right now I've been quite busy with a lot of things and I've kind of had my blinders on and I've been focusing on my music and my art and just trying to stay afloat in my daily life. So my camera has hit the limit for the video files that I can hold on it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me for this Q&A video. I only got to answer a few of the questions, so I'll be sure to make another video answering more of the questions that were on this video. Thank you guys for taking the time to ask questions and taking the time to watch this video. I hope it was very enjoyable, and I will see you again next week for a very, very fun video. I love you so much. Mwah. Be safe, take care, and tschüss. Tschüssi.
E ha suscitato per noi una salvezza potente nella casa di Davide suo servo, come aveva promesso per bocca dei suoi santi profeti che Signore, salvezza per la terra di amore, nostro Dio, così misericordia, riparto, ricordate verso la terra,